The masks we wear, I can still remember the day I unwrapped the broad, flat box nestled among the tinsel and festive wrappings. My heart raced with excitement as I pulled off the glittery paper, revealing a delicate porcelain mask, a gift from my sister Mia. It was exquisite, its surface painted with an intricate floral design, delicate and beautiful, just like the sister who gifted it to me. But that mask would go on to represent more than just a pretty object. It became a symbol of the deception that would unravel my entire world. "You should wear it at the Masquerade ball next month," Mia exclaimed, her emerald eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. We were navigating our mid-20s, an age many painted with the brush of adventure and exuberance. But as I stood in my living room, my heart sank involuntarily at the thought of the charade. A masquerade ball held promise, of new connections, of exciting possibilities. But behind the allure lay an unsettling knot in my stomach. People often told us we were the perfect sisters. Mia was the social butterfly, graceful and magnetic, while I was the reliable one, the voice of reason. I often downplayed my own beauty, preferring to let her shine. They would call me the steady hand, while Mia was the free spirit. We balanced each other, they said, but that night in December changed everything. As the evening of the ball approached, I felt anticipation and dread battling for dominance. Not just for myself, but for Mia too. Her life was a whirlwind of parties and relationships, while I slowly began to realize I had become a silent watcher of her dazzling life, often ignoring the echoes of my own loneliness. When I arrived at the dimly lit ballroom, adorned in the shimmering sapphire gown that hugged my curves, I felt like a paradox, beautiful on the outside but unsure of myself. The masks hugged our faces, lending an air of mystery. I caught sight of Mia across the crowded room, her laughter slicing through the chatter like crystal chimes. I felt proud of her, that endless vitality radiating like sunlight, but something began to twist in my gut. As the hours ticked by, I noticed Mia's laughter turn slightly too loud, her smiles linger a fraction too long. It was subtle at first, but when I saw her with him, Bradley, the charming man from her recent social media posts, I felt the ground shift beneath my feet. He leaned in close, whispering something that sent a rush of adrenaline coursing through me. The entire world faded into the background as psychic alarms blared. I approached them, steeling myself. "Hey, Mia, you look radiant." I forced a smile, my heart thrumming wildly. But as I watched Bradley's hand rest possessively against Mia's lower back, I felt a dark wave of protectiveness wash over me. I thought I'd give them space. After all, I was known as the reliable one. But when Mia's laughter rang out again, this time tinged with nervous energy, something snapped within me. "Mia, can I talk to you for a minute?" I reached for her arm to gently pull her away, the mask on my face still concealing my emotions. "Come on, it's just a bit of fun. Relax." She chirped, brushing past me as I stood there, unsure and unsettled. In that moment, jealousy entwined itself around my heart, fueling an ache that was far more than mere sibling rivalry. She seemed to slip away into a realm beyond my grasp, made more beautiful by the allure of danger accompanied by Bradley's presence. "Just talk to him, will you? He's not what you think he is." My voice, firm yet foreign to me, slipped out before I knew it. Mia's expression faltered for a moment, but then she tossed her hair back defiantly, the mask of confidence slipping back into place. And then, with that, I let her go. Weeks passed, the world resumed its rhythm. But as the days turned into a blur and Mia's laughter morphed into weary sighs, I started to feel unease growing like a vine around my heart. It wasn't long before I received a call filled with frantic tears and desperate words. "Mia, slow down. What happened?" I paced in my tiny apartment, the wallpaper closing in around me. He's not who he says he is," she cried, the betrayal seeping through each syllable. "He's been lying to me about everything." My heart raced. I'd suspected as much. "What do you mean?" I pressed, urgency surging through me. "I found his texts and, oh God, Rena, he's engaged. To someone else," she sobbed, each word stabbing through me. The turning point the next few weeks unraveled like a bitter script. Mia spiraled, isolating herself in her shadows, trapped beneath the weight of the lies. I became her anchor, a role I had grown comfortable with but never desired. I spent nights reassuring her, comforting, nurturing the pain she felt. But when I noticed Mia's happy facade cracking, withering under the hollowness of betrayal, I began to lose my grip on my own sanity. "Rena, I don't know how to go on after this. Feels like I can't breathe," she confided during a tear-soaked night, her mask now shattered into 1,000 pieces at her feet. "Then don't, just breathe, just be." I held her, masking the turmoil brewing within me. Keeping her strong became my sole purpose, but the resentment bubbled beneath. I am, but look what it's done to you, I thought. Instead of confronting my anger, the jealousy I held, the hollow ache of feeling overshadowed and forgotten, I wore my mask of maturity, pretending everything was fine. As time marched on, I found myself fading, much like a ghost within my own life. But then one night, right as the clock inched toward midnight, I received an anonymous tip. Meet me at the bar on Logan Street. He's back in town. The text left me shaken, flickering hope igniting in the darkest recesses of my mind. With unease blooming in my gut, I shared the news with Mia, her curiosity peeking against the shadow of heartbreak that clung to her tight. What if he's back for me? She whispered, her eyes lighting up for the first time in weeks. No, I think he's here for his other life, I asserted, a cold steel wrapping itself around my words. Desperate to protect her, I decided to confront this gruesome puzzle and put my own turmoil aside. As I stepped into the dimly lit bar, anticipation thrumming beneath my skin, I spotted him. Bradley, easy laughter tumbling from his lips like poison, inciting a rage that surged within me. There it was, the mask of charm slipping with every moment I watched him. I was eerie in my observation, an unseen monitor in a world where I had finally taken control. Knowing Mia was at home waiting, I steeled myself, my heart pounding fiercely in my chest. I walked straight over to him, the overwhelming urge to unleash my fury igniting my senses. Bradley, I said, my voice deceptively calm, pulling his gaze sharply toward me. His smile faltered for a fraction of a second before regaining that practiced charm. Well, look who it is. I think you owe my sister an explanation, I replied, each word laced with venom. His demeanor shifted, there it was, the mask slipping. He looked startled, troubled. Honestly, save it. You don't want to mess with me, I said, leaning closer. You need to tell her the truth for her sake and yours. The confrontation that followed was raw and revelatory, full of tense emotions, as he confessed to the duplicity wrapped around their relationship. The platitudes just peeled away, and I could see him for what he truly was, a fearful man drowning in lies and deceit. And as that conversation continued, rebuilding broken pieces while tearing down his ego, I realized I wasn't just protecting Mia anymore. I was reclaiming my voice, my own identity, beneath the weight of the mask I'd worn for too long. When he departed, I felt freedom hang in the air, a brisk freshness. The resolution returning to Mia, I recounted every detail, detailing how he finally cracked under pressure. What had once felt like despair morphed into triumph as she allowed herself to feel anger, not at me but at the betrayal he'd inflicted. It was as if a dam had broken. She sobbed deeply, and with the waves of grief came a sense of catharsis. Months slipped by. Through therapy, soul-searching, and long nights filled with vulnerable conversations, Mia and I uncovered strength deep within ourselves. We shed the masks we wore, each layer peeled back, shading the chaotic whirlwind we'd cloaked ourselves in for so long. The more she healed, the more I felt weights lift from my own heart. And one evening, sitting together on the balcony under a sky drenched in stars, Mia turned to me with her newfound spirit shimmering in her eyes. "Thank you for saving me," she whispered lightly, and I just smiled, realizing at that moment that I too had needed saving. The path to reclaiming ourselves had become a journey we shared, one not defined by envy or shadow, but blossoming from resilience and laboring love. In the months that followed, I felt reborn. I explored passions set aside, immersing myself in painting and sinking into creativity, a stark contrast to being the steady anchor all those years. I learned I could be radiant too. And as I stood at an outdoor gallery night showcasing my art, everything shifted once more. The masks we wore became memories carried in every brushstroke, a tale fed both by loss and rediscovery, illuminating every cranny of hope and authenticity. I can still feel that child in me, realizing life is not just hidden behind the masks we choose, but in the liberation of unmasking our true selves. Thank you for being a part of my story. Have you ever faced an unmasking moment that led to a new horizon? Let me know in the comments below, and if my journey resonates with you, consider liking and subscribing for more. It's your support that fuels my voice. See you in the next chapter.